Okay, so the first thing we talked about was we have to determine why you do what you do. I know that organizations just want, they come to me and say, okay, what data should I be collecting? And I said, wait, before we just talk about what data you should be collecting, we need to get really clear on your mission. And we want to make sure that your data, the data that you're collecting, is aligned with that mission. And so the 5 whys exercise, if you follow me a lot, you will know that I always come back to this 5 whys exercise, because those are going to be your outcomes. And it's a very easy question. Why do you do what you do? And you know, depending on your mission, it could be to increase individuals' self-sufficiency. It could be to increase their affordable housing. It could be to increase their functioning, right? And so when you think about your impact, what do you want to know about your organization's impact? Most people want to know how did what they do lead to key outcomes that they desire their clients to experience. So when you ask yourself, why do we do what we do? Those will be your outcomes. And that is what you will want to be measuring and tracking to talk about your organization's impact. You also want to think about what you want to do with that data collected. And that's really key as well, because if depending on what you want to do with it might change what data you need to collect. I was on a call just earlier this morning where someone wanted to track not only how were people moving into employment, but a lot of their clients were experiencing unique barriers to employment. So this individual SureImpact user wanted to make sure that they were also tracking barriers to employment, because they were going to use that information for advocacy. They were going to use that information for policy change at a system level. So yes, they would be able to tell the story about how the beneficiaries of their program were getting better and getting into better jobs. But those who were unsuccessful, that had these barriers to employment, they wanted to take that information and use it to go advocate. So really thinking about what do you want to do with data and making sure you're collecting the right data to be able to tell that story, to do something with it. And if you don't know why you're collecting a specific data element, or if you don't know what you're going to do with that particular piece of information, then you may start to ask questions about, why are we collecting this? Is this necessary, or is this just a waste of our staff's time? And one thing you also want to know are, how are people better off because of the work that we're doing? It's often, that should be the core crux of what you're doing. But in order to answer that question, you need to be able to track not just what you did, but how are they better off? What are those outcomes? And again, those typically go back to your whys. Why does your organization do what it does?